We zeroed on one particular person whom I regard as a mentor. I have learned access consciousness from him. And he belongs to the LMI, that is Leadership Management International, a 35-year-old organization promoting productivity enhancement programs. And it enhances leadership qualities. And he is trained in 17 countries across several continents. He has coached, trained, and facilitated thousands of training programs. And he is also into the spiritual journey, especially quantum and energy sciences. In as early as 1991, he had turned a Reiki master. Soon to follow was pranic healing. He also became an avatar master in 2006. And he's also done Vipassana courses. And he's been trained under different masters, the world leaders, healers, coaches, therapists, you name, across all modalities, different kinds of methods. And apart from that, he's also been trained and certified by the Health International of UK. It is called HDI, very famous, the international body. And he's a certified neurosciences coach, not neuro-linguistic program, neurosciences coach. And he has been trained by the great people with whom you've been associated with, Father Dick McHugh. NLP had learned from him directly from the master. And what is quite amazing about him is he's a lifelong learner. He always believes in sharpening his axe. He continues to learn, unlearn, relearn, and the process empower all of them. And he's also been a Socratic, he practices what is called the Socratic method of inquiry, meaning he'll not be preachy, it'll not be usual sermons. There is not be a one-way traffic. He speaks, he learns from all of us. He learns from every interaction. His tagline is how to have a life of ease, joy, and glory. It's a very powerful phrase. How to lead a life of ease, joy, and glory. That is his pet tagline. And his style of delivery is always that is learning oriented. He doesn't give, he also takes and he also shares the knowledge. And apart from that, his passion is all about learning, touring, and what is called, of late, he's been acquainted with what a very, very powerful program called Access Bars, Access Consciousness by Gary Douglas. What I particularly like about Mr. Sukhdeepak Malvai, that is the name, whom I never mentioned his name. And Mr. Sukhdeepak Malvai brings a lot of training equipment, a lot of expertise. And above all, he's been able to breathe energy into his training sessions. And every day, for the past several years, he's doing what is called a half-an-hour program called Empowering Morning Conversations. It is called EMC. We got a lot of members attending EMC. And he believes in empowering his people, empowering the students or the audience with what is called being non-judgmental. How to be non-judgmental. That is his forte. And today, when we requested to speak on goals, he said, okay, we'll make it goals versus intention. Because goals are those, they say obstacles are the frightful things that suddenly come to us when we take our eyes off the goals. But before that, you should have intention. Unless you have an intention, you may not be able to accomplish your goals. Goals are nothing but dreams and deadlines. And he said he'll speak on goals versus intention. So we are quite fortunate to have a master of 35 years plus experience in the world of coaching, training, and facilitating, who will be enthralling us for the next 1 hour or so. With this introduction, I leave the platform to you, sir. Sukhdeepak, sir. The platform is all yours.
Thank you. And a very, very, very warm welcome to each and every one of you. I like to establish my relationship with my audience, before I begin. So you guys are all masters in your own right, very, very experienced people. And it's my privilege and my honor to learn from you. Because every time you interact, we open up new possibilities. Okay. So who am I to you? I'm not some great teacher or anything. I'm a friend who is committed to the fulfillment of your vision. Who am I to you? A friend who is committed to the fulfillment of your vision. So if you have one, which I'm sure you do, whatever I do will be to facilitate that. Who am I? Who are you to me? You are a wonderful, magnificent, extraordinary human being. I'll repeat that. You are a wonderful, magnificent, and an extraordinary human being who deserves to be loved and respected for who you are. That's who you are. And I always like to remind people that that's who you are. So one of the formulas from which I operate is in life, that is that performance is equal to potential minus interference. Many of you might be knowing that formula, especially the coaches and trainers. Performance is equal to potential minus interference. Now, I believe that we all have the potential. We have the knowledge, we have the skills, right? And above all, I think we have the ability to acquire whatever knowledge we need. Isn't that so? Whether you're willing to acquire that knowledge or not, that's a different matter, but you have the ability. Now, what stops us from doing that is something called interferers. So each one of you, whatever you're doing in your profession, you are helping people to deal with their interferers. So these mental, physical, emotional, and energetic interferers, which do not allow us to live our life to its full potential. So in my journey, when I did a program called EST, which later on became the Landmark Forum. So I did that back in 1982 when I decided to give up my job in a multinational company. And I went and joined these people to become a trainer in Mumbai. Okay. So I was being trained to be a trainer there, one of the most powerful methodologies you can imagine. And most people don't survive the training process itself. The first thing they told me is that you have no right to talk about something which you have not experienced yourself. And if you are not open to be a learner, then you cannot be a trainer. You cannot be a coach. If you are not willing to be a learner, and if somebody says something to you in your program, you will try to turn him around to think in your point of view, rather than using what the person is saying. If you are a learner, you will listen to anything and everything to discover another person's point of view. So I learned something very, very powerful about communication at that time, which I didn't know, even though I was in a profession of communicating. Before that, I was a sales manager. Before I became a trainer, before I went into this journey of training and development, professional, very good one-to-one, right? When it comes to being effective in front of group, zero. Okay. So when I started my journey, they said, first thing, you better learn about communication. You're going to be a professional communicator for the next foreseeable future. So what is communication? Communication, now listen to me carefully because we're going to do a test at the end of it. I'm going to test you. Communication begins with the willingness to accept another person's point of view without changing it. I'll repeat it. Otherwise, I don't remember what you said. Communication begins with the willingness to accept another person's point of view without changing it. It does not mean that you have to agree with that person. It does not mean that you have to disagree with that person. It doesn't mean that you have to do what they say. It does not even mean that you don't do what they say. It simply means you are willing to accept another person's point of view without changing it. And that's when the magic of communication becomes possible. Now you can use it as a trainer or a coach or a person in a relationship. And we are all in a network of relationship. And the quality of our life, as you know, depends on the quality of our relationships. And the quality of our relationships depends on the quality of our communication. So when you are willing to accept another person's point of view without changing it, three strong pillars come into play, which are the measures of a great relationship: affinity, relationship, and agreement. Now, we're not here to talk about that, but they are the three pillars of a relationship. There are 5 other pillars that are there. If you pay attention to them, then you will have very close and very intimate relationships with whoever you interact with. Do you think it's useful to have that?
Yes, sir.
Good. So let's do my little test with you guys, okay? So I said that communication begins with the willingness to accept another person's point of view without changing it. So can somebody repeat to me what I said? Communication begins with the willingness to accept another person's point of view without changing it. Can you say it back to me? So we'll do that. Swarna is a very good listener.
Swarna will do it.
All right.
Communication begins with the willingness to accept the other person's point of view without
Changing it.
changing it.
Yeah, it doesn't mean
It doesn't mean you have to agree or you have to disagree with them or you have to do what they ask you to do or not to do what you have been told to do. So accept as it is.
yeah, just get it, like getting these people very important. Okay, and the three pillars of a relationship is what? Affinity, relationship, like how related you feel with that person, and agreement. Affinity, AFFINITI, affinity, the feeling of closeness. And let me quickly talk to you about the 5 pillars of a relationship also. They are honor, trust, allowance, gratitude, and vulnerability. This I got from my training to be a access consciousness facilitator, that if you want to have a close and intimate relationship with high affinity, then is there honor in that relationship? Is there trust in that relationship? Is there allowance in that relationship? Is there gratitude? And is there vulnerability? Now we can talk more about it. If you have any questions now, you can ask. Honor, you understand? Honor, trust, allowance, gratitude, and vulnerability. Trust is a funny word, right? We expect people to earn our trust. But the trust that I'm talking about is something that you bestow on someone. I trust you. I trust you to do what you will do. And I trust you that you will not do what you won't do. What is allowance? The allowance does not mean that you let somebody do whatever they want. That's not what I mean by allowance. Now, all of you have heard the word acceptance. Now, there is some judgment in acceptance also, right? What you're doing is wrong, but I accept you. You're a useless fellow, but I still accept you. That is acceptance. But when you're in allowance of someone, you don't have any judgment about that person. It is the way it is. Now, I either am in allowance of the sun or I keep cursing why the sun is so hot. Interestingly, reminds me of a little poem that a little girl told me one day. You know what that poem was? As a rule, man is a fool. When it is hot, he wants it cool. When it is cool, he wants it hot, always wanting what is not. How can you honor someone if you're judging them? So is honor the same as respect, or is it something more than that? You may respect someone, you may not honor them, no? So just think, who do you honor in your life? Like really honor from your heart. Very few people, isn't it? Yeah, it's kind of unconditional love. I don't like the word love, love comes with too many expectations and too many judgments. But if you have honor, trust, allowance, gratitude, and vulnerability, it's more than love, isn't it? Love, first you have kadal, and then you fall into marriage, and then you know what happens after that. So coming back to allowance, right? And judgment. Vulnerability, my friend, is not having the need to have any defenses with that person. So when you are dropping all defenses, you don't want to hide anything. You are vulnerable with some very, very close friends, aren't you? Yeah, I am safe to say what I want. I can express myself and there will be nobody judging me. Absolutely open, without the need of any defenses. You will notice that there are very few people with whom we have that. So what we have, you know very well, so I don't have to tell you that. Some pretense or trying to please them, trying to come up to their judgment or trying to not be judged by them and all that. Now, there's a very interesting book. You might want to read that book. It's called The Gift of Allowance. It's written by Gary Douglas, The Gift of Allowance. It's available. I think you will love that book. Now, what it has allowed is for me to have a magical life. Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Swarna. And since we are going to be getting into the topic of goals and intentions, you will find out what the relevance is over there. Okay. So perhaps it's time to do a little exercise now. So I request each and every person to close your eyes. That's a good point. Any relationship will have wounds. But when you are in allowance, to see when you have wounds, what happens? The older you are, the more wounds you have. So anyway, let's dissolve those wounds. So please close your eyes and we're going to do a very quick exercise. And believe me, when we start doing this exercise, it becomes easier and easier to live in a world of allowance. And when you are in allowance, you have ease, you have joy, you have glory, you have magical results happening in your life. Effort and struggle vanishes. Our belief that you have to struggle a lot to achieve a lot may not be so true. Unfortunately, I discovered it at the age of 67. And now I'm 72, so I've been enjoying that for the last couple of years. You too will. So close your eyes and focus all your attention on your toes. This little forgotten part of your body, which you remember only when your toes are hurt. And be aware of the significance that these toes have for you and your body, that without these toes, how awkward your gait or your walking will be. And allow yourself to express your deep gratitude to your toes. One of the most important parts of your body. Put your attention on your feet, which have been carrying your weight for such a long time. And allow yourself to feel gratitude. You will notice I'm not saying say thank you. You can say thank you without meaning it. You can say thank you without feeling thankful. You can say I'm grateful without feeling grateful. So allow yourself to feel the feeling of gratitude to your feet, to your ankles, to your calf muscles, to your knees, to your thighs, to your hips, to your genitals. Become aware of your abdomen and all the organs that are there in your abdomen in service of you. And allow yourself to feel deep gratitude to your liver, to your intestines, to your spleen, your stomach, your gallbladder, your kidneys, all these organs who are serving you relentlessly. Feel gratitude towards them. give them the love and attention that they deserve. Now put your attention on your chest and your lungs, working hard to oxygenate your body, to your heart and your circulatory system, which is carrying oxygenated blood to each and every cell of your body and taking out the impurities and sending them out. Put your attention on your fingers of your hands and your thumbs. Try to be without a thumb one day and see what it feels like. Your wrists, your forearms and your elbows, and your upper arms. And please allow yourself to feel deep gratitude to each and every one of these appendages. Put your attention on your shoulder. Scan your back and be aware of your backbone, spinal cord, which keeps you erect. The upper part of the spinal cord is your throat, neck, and your throat, and your voice box and your vocal cords. Be aware of how important they are and how beautifully they are serving you, and allow yourself to feel gratitude towards them. Put your attention on your lips and your mouth, your teeth, your tongue, your salivary glands. And be grateful to them. Be aware of your nose, your nostrils, and your ability to smell different aromas, and be grateful for that. Your face, your cheeks, your ears, and the gift of hearing that you have, where you can hear all the melodies and everything. Last but not the least, put your attention on your CPU, the brain, and your nervous system, and be grateful that your brain and your nervous system is working. And this envelope that covers your entire body, the skin, it's not just a cover, it helps your body to breathe, to excrete, to feel the sensation of touch. And let's be grateful to that part of our body as well. Now become aware of yourself as a personality. This one and only unique personality that you are. And be grateful for the Creator for giving you this unique personality. Also be grateful for those two creators who brought you into this world and who had a great deal of importance to play in your life, in shaping you to become who you are. That's your parents. And all the teachers whom you liked and you did not like, and all the people who came into your life, some of them who gave you pain, some of them gave you pleasure, but every one of them helped you to shape you to become who you are today. And let's express our gratitude to them. You know, there is no end to the things that you can feel grateful to, but I think I'd like to stop here. But before I stop, let's all give thanks to the Almighty that has allowed us to live and play in this garden. They talk about the Garden of Eden, but I think this is it, where we live now. We made a choice to be here. We made a choice to be in this particular life journey. We made a choice to play this particular character in this play called life. So let's be grateful for that. And whenever you feel like it, kindly open your eyes. I'm very fond of the words of one Og Mendino. Many of you might have heard of him. And he said, I will greet this day with love in my heart. I will greet this day with gratitude in my heart. All right, so if anybody wants to say something, I would appreciate if you raise your hand, and then you can unmute yourself and share whatever it is that you experienced. But I would like you not to give a judgment, oh, it was nice or it was not nice. That's a judgment. I would appreciate if you share what you experienced, what you realized as this exercise went along. Okay, so who wants to go? Yes, Shweta.
Hi, sir. That was very, made me peaceful, and I'm in a better, nicer, in trance, like Sankaravel sir put it. So I'm feeling good all about myself. So thanks for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Malika ji, good to see you again. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this exercise. It's really amazing. It was travel within me and got peace in my mind. It's really amazing. Thank you so much.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. These are ARC, affinity, relationship, and agreement. And communication, sorry. All right, so let's talk about goals. And I don't think any of you here on this call today are unfamiliar with what goals are, isn't it? So everybody knows what goals are. So what's a goal? Specific, measurable, achievable, rational, tangible, correct? So we set goals, we set long-term goals, we set short-term goals and all that stuff, okay? But in this endeavor to reach our goals, what have you noticed and what have you realized? Now, some of you are helping others to reach their goals. Most of us are trying to reach our own goals, isn't it? And since we are all very experienced people, we would have all experienced what we call as the ups and downs. Yeah? We would have all experienced that there are some people who seem to achieve their goals very quickly. And there are some people keep struggling, but they don't achieve their goals. There are some people who put in, let's say, they put in huge amount of effort, but the results are not proportional to the efforts that they're putting in. On the other hand, you might have seen that there are people who put in little effort and the results are much more. So if you have noticed it, would you raise your hand? What I'm talking about? Have you seen it happening in life? Okay, so 2 people said yes. What about the rest of you? You didn't hear my question? You didn't understand the question or what? Or some people thinking it's obvious. No, of course we have experienced it. So I'll assume that we have all experienced it. Okay, so why is it that some people achieve their goals with ease? Some people do not achieve their goals with a lot of struggle also. Yes, Major Narayanan, go ahead.
They would have mastered the art of doing things in a simplified manner. Some tricks of the trade, or some shortcuts, or some chosen techniques, proven techniques with which they can apply their knowledge and achieve their goals faster, much more easily and effortlessly.
Okay, so there are a lot of techniques we learn and we teach people how to, achieve their goals, how to deal with the interferers that are coming in the way and derails you and all that stuff. Okay. We have also noticed that many people set goals and they give up at some point. There are people who completely forget, oh, I made that goal. Huh? Oh, yeah. That was my New Year resolution. I forgot all about it. So I have been looking into this for quite some time now. So one of the things I've discovered is that people, there are people who are very intentional. Their words create, their intentions create. And people whose intentions are very strong, they each achieve their goals just because they are having an intention. And I've experienced it often enough. When the intent is high, the results seem to come like magic. All sorts of results come like magic. Now, that question which comes to my mind must be coming into yours also, that when you made a goal, were you not intentional about it? Tell me, all of you have made goals, no? All of you would have made SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, rational, time-bound, tangible, all that has been done. Okay. Now, the assumption is that when you made the goal, you must be having some intention to fulfill. That is why you made the goal. So the goal is made to fulfill an intention. And having made the goal, what happens after that? Anybody wants to share something about it from your experience? Let's make this a little interactive. Huh? Yeah, that's a good point. Raghavan said intentions are there, but they got disturbed. There's an enemy. Raghavan sir, just allow me to remind us at some point to talk about this. We have intentions. We also have counter intentions. There are a lot of counter intentions which come along with the intentions, and those who don't deal with it, their intention never gets fulfilled. Yes, Malika ji, go ahead.
Yes, sir. We have goals, but whereas we have the urgent and emergency situations, so that to satisfy the intentions of the current that is, we have to complete our current goals, that is sub goals. So the main goal is actually.
Mom, I don't think we can hear you.
Hey, she's coming in loud and clear.
Is it okay now?
Yeah. Shweta, can you hear her?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah, we have some intentions so that it has to be completed by that time, by that moment. So these are all the temporary goals which is affecting, which is not allowing us to work for the main goals. So that is what is my experience. So I want the solutions for this also. From you, I am expecting.
We are going to talk about that. Okay, anybody else? What's your experience? The goal was set with an intention at some point. Now, most of us are smart people. So you make a goal, right? Then you make a long-term goal, then you break it down into mid-term goal, then a short-term goal, and then you make your action plans. Okay, so you will have a plan of action for the month, you will have a plan of action for the week, and you may have a plan of action for the day also. Despite that, why is it not happening? That's my question. Yes, Anthony?
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My experience, I found sometimes the goal is unrealistic, too ambitious. And second is, if I'm not able to relate to this goal very strongly, then there is high chance of goes from my priority of achieving it.
Okay, so you may be right to an extent, but listen, what is realistic and what is unrealistic? When there was this man called the American President John F. Kennedy, you all heard that story. right? He declared a goal without consulting anybody that man shall set foot on the moon in 10 years' time. And all his advisors were quite pissed off with him. How can you do a thing like that? It's not possible. It's not realistic. So his question was, okay, why not? So many reasons were given. Because we can't do it, because we don't have re-entry shield, because we don't have the communication, because we don't have the computation, because we don't have the fuel. So each person who said that, he said, okay, what do you want from me? I will give you the resources, make it possible. So he asked a simple question, what can we do to make it possible? And you might be knowing this very well, that man set foot on the moon before 10 years. At some point, intentional action started. See, the moment he told so-and-so, okay, look here, you don't have the alloys. You don't have the re-entry shields. So what do you want from me? How can I help you? How can we make it possible to have re-entry shields? At that moment, people started working intentionally to invent the re-entry shields. See, we plan actions for the day, and sometimes we tick the mark also, done, 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 done. But at the end of the day, what did we achieve? 0. Why is that? And you say to yourself, I did everything that was to be done. I made so many calls, I spoke to so many people. Why didn't it happen? At the same time, you would have noticed sometimes when you are very highly intentional about something, and it just happens. And you're often thinking, listen, I didn't do anything. How did it happen? It happens, no? I've seen this happening in my life many times. Just about a month ago, suddenly I decided that my YouTube channel needs to do much better. By the way, I have a YouTube channel. It's by the name of Sukhdeepak Malvai. You can go there and subscribe to it. So at that time, I had some 636 subscribers. So I said, no, I have to make it 1,000. But I did all the things. People suggested, I hired people, you do this and you do that. And nothing was happening. They just go 10, 20, 10, 20, 10, 20. So one fine day, I said, nothing doing, it has to happen. So every day I had an intention. Today we have to do it, no matter what. And you know what was happening? And people whom I had requested earlier, who had not done anything, suddenly they got into action. And within 10 days, the number went up from 700 to 1,000. How amazing is that? That is the power of intention. Now, you must have come across a lot of people and you admire them and you respect them, because if you know, if this fellow has said this thing is going to happen, because you know that person as a very, very, very intentional person. Are you beginning to get the difference? Having a goal, you start with an intention, but do we have that strong intention for each action that is there on the action plan? That the intention is today, this has to happen, no matter what. And when that intention is there, doesn't it happen? Many of us have experienced it. Now, you may be thinking that was a fluke or hit or trial, that day I was lucky or something like that. No. That day you were being very highly intentional. Raghavan sir, I think you've had some experiences like that. Would you like to share it with the group? Please unmute and share any such experience that you've had. Anybody? Anyone who has experienced it. I asked Mr. Raghavan because, he was indicating that he has. Why don't you share that? Mic is not functioning. Okay, I got it. Anybody else who has experienced the power of intention?
Am I audible?
You are, certainly.
Okay, then I am coming back. Yes, you are right. Intention must be backed by intentional action. My experience is daily I make to-do list. There will be about 10, 12 items. 4 I would have achieved. I say the balance go tomorrow. Again, I bring back the next day. Again, I add on 4 or 5. Whichever is easy, I do it. The balance go back to the shelf.
Yeah. Now, what I want you to notice, Mr. Raghavan, is that when you are intentional about any of the action, it happens. Are you getting it?
Yes, it happens.
Intention is strong. Today, this has to be done. It is going to be done. You know it. And it's done. And the rest of them, your mind is okay. We'll see if it happens, it happens. Otherwise, it doesn't happen.
मेरे ऊपर डंडा लगना चाहिए.
किसका डंडा लगना चाहिए?
घरवाली का.
Thank God for घरवालीज, eh? That brings me to another thing. Intentional people are self-driven. They are internally motivated. They don't require external motivation. See, one big enemy of our intentionality, big enemy of our goals is our tendency to be so easily influenced by the circumstances and by other people. That's why when we were young, we would sing songs like Koi Hota, जिसको हम अपना कह सकते यारो पास नहीं तो दूर ही होता लेकिन कोई होता अपना
मेरे अपने.
हाँ, you remember that movie, is it? Are you from the armed forces, Raghavan sir?
नहीं, मैं खुद गाता हूँ ये गाना.
अरे वाह, क्या बात है.
अच्छा लगता है.
क्या बात है. How do you know such good Hindi, sir?
मैं दिल्ली में 65 साल था. आजकल दिल्ली मद्रास में 4 साल से हूँ.
Oh, फिर ठीक है. ठीक है. You're not like me. I'm a half Sardarji and a half Malayali who does not know Malayalam, but I know Tamil.
मेरे साथ भी उल्टा ही है. I don't know Tamil.
Okay, so coming back to now, is everybody getting a bit clear on what's the difference between a goal and an intention? At least one thing is clear, that if you are not very strongly intentional and consistently intentional on a day-to-day basis, you will not fulfill your goals. A goal that can be fulfilled in 1 year, you may take 5 years to fulfill it. Welcome, sir. So if that distinction is clear, then we have to find out, do I have the power of intention? Yes, you do. But what is that one enemy that we have to deal with? If we don't deal with that enemy, you will never be able to fulfill or you'll never remain intentional for a long time. What do you think it is? Anybody?
The counter intention that you were talking about.
Right. I'm glad you remember it, Shweta. Raghavan says procrastination. Yeah, that's also true, isn't it? I mean, what makes us procrastinate? Now, I remember, I used to work for Myco Bosch many years ago. So I was one of the youngest people to get promotion. All my colleagues who were 18, 25 years experience, they were not promoted. I was. My boss, Mr. Kumar Chandran, used to like me a lot. But still, when he promoted me, I went and asked him, sir, why have you promoted me when there are more experienced and more knowledgeable people than me? So he says, you are suspicious of my intentions or what? I said, yes, sir. I was very frank with him. Very friendly with him also. I said, yes, sir. Why me? You know what he said? You are the only person in this company who never says why something cannot be done. You always say, I will find out how to get it done. Okay, sir. Now, I got the promotion, all right. But one, what shall I say, fallout of that promotion was that now our office timings were 9 to 5. So I was always on time, 9 o'clock. But I was sitting late till 8:30 at night. Okay. Then fortunately for me, when I went and did this EST training in Bombay for, 3 days, 4 days, whatever it was, I came back and suddenly I found that I was going home on time. Why? Because I was not wasting my time. Now, I was practicing a form of procrastination. You see, in a busy office and so many people coming to meet me every day, I would always postpone the important matters which require thinking for the evening. Are you getting it? I'm so busy dealing with the people, officers and this and that every day, people coming to talk to me. And I would sit down after office hours to complete all the important jobs. Because my point of view is that if I get interrupted in something important which I'm doing, I can't do it. So the first big change which happened to me was, I will finish what I'm doing whenever I'm doing it. I will put up time slots. I started planning my time better. Because what I did realize is that if I'm not committed to going home on time, I never will. I have a compulsion to finish my job on time because I have to prove to my boss that he did not make a mistake by promoting me. Okay, so I was committed to my job, but I was not equally committed and intentional about my family life. But the moment I committed myself, and I was very intentional, I will go home at 5 o'clock. Now, the usual method is, you give up one thing in order to do another. Right? I have committed to go home on time, so whatever work is finished today, I'll finish it. Rest I'll do tomorrow. I was not willing to do that. I said, I will finish my work also. I'll go home at 5 o'clock. Also, I'll do both. Now, that required me to challenge myself and change my way of working also. You see? Then I started planning my time. I had read a very interesting book at that point of time called Manage Your Time and Your Life. One of the most powerful books. I think this man was the, father of all time management today. His name is Alan Lakean. His book is very rarely available now. Manage Your Time and Your Life. So I realized that if I don't make time windows, and by the way, this is what we teach in LMI also. I conduct the LMI Effective Personal Productivity Program. It's a beautifully crafted program which helps people to make goals and make sure that they achieve them. And organizations are very happy because the results of their staff go up exponentially, right? So you'd set up a time slot. I started doing that. Now, another thing, intentional people are always taking care of their unexamined beliefs. You want to be an intentional person? You want to unleash the power of your intentions? Then you have to work with your unexamined beliefs. So what is an unexamined belief? Anybody? Any idea?
Are they limiting beliefs that we impose on ourselves, like procrastination or I can't do this or some things like that? Maybe?
Yeah, that's a part of it. See, a belief that you did not know was a belief. Are you getting it? A belief is a belief if you know it as a belief, that this is what I believe, it's not the truth. Right? But if you may have a belief what you think is the truth. For example, I discovered I had a belief called people will betray me. For me, it was not a belief, it was the truth. Another belief that was a transparent belief, I call it, because I did not think it's a belief. I thought it's the truth. If you ask somebody for a favor, they will take advantage of me. So I'll never ask anybody for a favor. I'll ask for a favor for somebody else. So if Narayanan wants something, I'll get his job done by asking someone, but I'll never do it for myself. Yeah? But then I realized that it's a belief only I have. It's not the truth. Like one of these beliefs that most people have is either I can do this or I can do that. Either I can go home on time or I can finish all my work. So when I was able to change that and say, okay, I can do this and that, I can do both. Am I willing to put in the extra effort, extra thinking, etc., See, you'll have to do something extra. Na? If you keep on operating the way you always operated, you are doing so because of the beliefs that you believe till now. So if you want something else to happen, you want... Now, because of these beliefs, our intentionality is also weak. Intention is, I said it, it's going to happen, I'll see to it that it happens. But how often do we say that? Before you say it only, your mind is saying, no, 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 how do you know it will happen? There's so many things to do, multiple things can happen. So many times in the past, I've said so many things, but I didn't do it. Again, I'll fall flat on my face, I'll make a fool of myself. So I'll give it my best shot. So that's what we do. We give it our best shot. So intention is that if I have an intention, it's going to happen. I'm not going to let go of it until it happens. So even if you enroll your wife to give you danda, if you know, कि मैं ढीला पड़ूंगा तो डंडा मार देना, do that or do whatever it is. But intention is not to be given up. Yes, Malika ji.
Your intention should not get affected by the logical thinking. That's what is my understanding. Is it right, sir?
Yeah, because this great logic is designed to make you justify things. Yeah, I think intention transcends the logic. Once you made an intention, you could have made a logical intention, but once you made it, then logic, no logic, I said it means I'm not going to give up on this. It's a state of being, you know, like a bulldozer. Once the bulldozer starts, you cannot stop it. So let's spend a few moments to look at what the counter intentions are. Now, I'm assuming that each and every one of you has a goal that you're trying to fulfill. That's correct, Raghavan sir. Forget all other things, keep moving forward, yeah. See, there are a few qualities these intentional people have. They don't allow themselves to be derailed by any situation. What do normal people do? They'll say, oh, this is a problem, what to do now? Challenges, problems are going to come, right? All of us with experience, we know that it's inevitable part of life. So intentional people have trained themselves that they do not resist any situation that comes their way. First of all, they don't label it as good or bad. Yeah? What are the rest of us doing? Good, oh, this is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. I agree, I don't agree. I like this, I don't like it. Last time it worked, why it is not working this time? This is what ordinary people do. Intentional people says, forget about right, wrong, good, bad, agree, disagree. What is my target? Today I have to do it, period. So he's not wasting time in resisting and reacting to the situations. The intentional fellow says, every experience is an opportunity to become a better version of myself. So one of the ways, you know, people like you and me get sidetracked is we waste a lot of time in resisting situations. Unconsciously or consciously. How many of you remember all the things that you keep on resisting? There's one person I know who's my associate, and a lot of training has been given on how to, you know, talk to a prospect and, you know, how to close the deal and blah, everything has been done. So when I asked that person, what happened? How many calls did you make today? 1 call, sir. But you had planned to make 5 calls. Why didn't you make 5 calls? No, sir, if I call that fellow, I know he's going to say no to me. If I call that fellow, I know he's like that. I said, then why is he in your list? Because I don't know anybody else, sir. Interesting. So before you made the call, you got a counter intention. You made a judgment about that person. You made a judgment about you also. You know, people like me, we cannot deal with people like this. So my request is all of you close your eyes and think about the goal that you are to fulfill, and think about the actions plans that you have made, and think about the actions that you are going to do, and think about the intention behind the action also. Like, I'm doing this action. What is the intent of this action? What is it supposed to achieve? And once you've done some thinking on that, friends, I would like you to think on what are the counter intentions that are coming up in your mind. Counter intentions would be things like doubts, things that you're hesitating to do, some judgments you have about the other person and yourself, all the reasons your mind is giving you why it cannot happen. Take a moment to think about that. And you see how many you will be having. All right. Have you started becoming aware of your counter intentions, your doubts, your hesitations, your fears? And that little voice somewhere telling why it cannot happen. Have you guys been able to identify a few of those? They will always be there, but what should you do about it? That's the important part. Stuff you believe to be true. If somebody tells you it's not like that, you'll say, no, 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 you know better about my situation than I do. Okay, anybody who's got something like that? Yeah, but you know how to do that, no, Sweta? How often do we do it?
We do it, but your brain again tells you you're trying to scam me, so I'm not going to scam you, so I will scam you, is what your brain does.
Yeah, just remember that whatever it is, that negative thought or whatever, keep it in your brain. I'll tell you how to deal with it. There's a very, very powerful process. I'm going to give it to you for free today. Okay, anybody else? Whatever is your counter intention, whatever is your negative belief about, why something cannot be happening in your life, why it can't happen, I want you to hold it in your mind and then close your eyes. See, every thought has a corresponding feeling in your body. Okay? So, Shweta, take that particular thing that you were dealing with. Hold that in your mind. And now look into your body and see where are you feeling it. That belief lives in your body in the form of some body sensation somewhere. Can you guys identify what that body sensation is? And which part of the body are you feeling it? And what are you feeling exactly? Whatever you're feeling right now, do not try to suppress it. Do not try to eradicate it. Just allow yourself to experience that feeling, that sensation in your body right now. Allow that sensation to expand, get deep into it. Normal tendency is to suppress it because it's not comfortable. I'm saying experience that, whatever it is. Experience it and allow it to expand. Just imagine it's a kind of a balloon, that sensation, and that balloon is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's become so big that it's bigger than your body. Now you gently push it out of your body, push it out, and you see that standing in front of you, and you look at it and say, this is not I. Say, this is not I, this is my creation, and I'm discreating it right now. Yeah, so if you're done, you can open your eyes and share with me your experience, what happened. So you can do it with many things. If you have a strongly held judgment about yourself or a belief about yourself, you can
Feeling
do this.
strong.
Huh?
Feeling strong.
You're feeling strong.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Congratulations. As compared to?
Earlier, I had a fear. I said, hell with you now. अब करके रहना है.
You were able to discreate that fear.
Yes.
Yeah, one of the ways of getting rid of that fear is to feel the fear, expand that fear, and know that, yeah, and then let it go. Because you are creating it anyhow. Beautiful. Thank you so much. All right. Anybody else? So whenever you need to be strongly intentional about something, then first deal with all the counter intentions which are there. And then switch on the intention. And if you do, you'll be moving forward with velocity in fulfilling your goals. I have a lot of people who are not on camera, so I do not know what their reaction is. Are they getting it? Are they responding? Are they doing the exercise? So we've done two things. We've given you certain basic tools about communication, about relationships, because all this is what you will use for fulfilling and reaching your goals. I've talked about the difference between goals and intentions. I've talked about counter intentions. I've talked about how to discreate counter intentions. I've talked about how to discreate the interferers that you might have, mental, physical, emotional interferers. Okay? So time now for question and answers. It's also time for anybody who wants to share the experience of doing these two exercises that we did today. Okay, nobody wants to share their experience. All right, no problem.
Probably they are speechless, sir.
They all zoned out.
No, I have learned 3 lessons. बड़ा अच्छा लग रहा है.
Hanji, what are the 3 lessons, sir?
Okay. First lesson is you have to create intentions to perform. Intentional action. Second is find out the counter intentions. And third is to do this meditative exercise to throw out these counter intentions. And then you are free, move forward.
Great. Just remember one thing, you can only discreate it if you allow yourself to experience it fully. If you don't do that, you cannot do it. Yeah, so whatever sensation is associated with your thought, right, or your belief, allow yourself to feel that completely. Wallow in it, let it expand. This, was a technique I learned from my boxing coach. I used to get a lot of muscular cramps, So this fellow used to say to me, he was a Sardarji. I mean, when there's a clamp, it's so painful, you're trying to rub it and push it and try to suppress it. He used to say, nahi, aan de. Aur mehsoos karo usko. I said, what do you mean by that? It's paining. Eh? He said, try it. When I would let go and allow myself to experience that pain completely without trying to fight it, it would disappear in a jiffy. So when you allow yourself to experience what you are experiencing fully, even if it is somebody else's anger, even if it's your own anger, don't do anything. Just allow yourself to experience it. It will disappear. And once that disappears, you can be as intentional as you want to be. All right. So thank you very much, guys, for being very good listeners and participating with me today. I'm now opening the floor to any question and answers that you might have. Questions you might have. I'll give the answers. Or you can give me answers. Or you can give answers to each other also. No problem.
एक दो तीन चार भैया बने होशियार.
Sir, both the exercise helps me a lot. Sir, I have a doubt. Whatever is the negative feelings, can we make it as a balloon and discreate it, which can make us free? Any
Yeah.
negative feelings at any
Don't
time.
make it into a balloon. I'm just giving an example of a balloon. You
Okay.
experience that feeling, whatever negative feeling you're calling it. Allow yourself to experience it fully and allow it to expand like a balloon. I'm not saying convert into balloon. Allow that feeling to expand and expand and expand. See, it is opposite of trying to resist it and suppress it. You are allowing it to come up and experience fully. And when you are experiencing it fully, you can easily push it away and say, bye-bye, thank you, I don't want to keep it anymore. You got it, Shweta?
Sir, I have another question on this. So now that you said this, can you do the same thing with positive feelings so that you will feel better about it? You know,
You want to do
let's
that?
say- I'm sorry?
Why would you want to do it with a positive
No, I
feeling?
don't want to throw it away. I just want the positive feelings to,
Enlarge it.
want to be in that balloon of positive feelings. That's what I'm saying.
Fine, just feel it fully. See, Shweta, I'm glad you asked this question. I believe that people have lost their ability to experience experiencing. You know, this Father Dick Magoo, from whom I learned NLP, I did 3 courses of 10 days each with him. You know, he's the first person, he was a Jesuit priest, and he was able to get permission from the Vatican to allow the priests to go and attend Vipassana programs. Can you imagine that? I mean, Jesuits are very, hardcore people. They don't believe in all this yoga and all these things. But he got the permission because as an NLP trainer, he realized the importance of people being aware of their sensations and feelings. Because in NLP, we work a lot with that. Now, most people have lost the ability to experience experiencing itself. Like I remember when I first went for Vipassana, and after 4 days of Annapanna, where we just watch our breath, next day he says, put your attention on different part of the body and see what you're feeling over there. My reaction was, I'm not feeling anything. He says, are you alive? I said, yeah. Then how can you not feel anything? Because there are thousands of chemical reactions happening in every cell of your body. There are sensations, but you are immune to that. You don't feel it. Yeah. So if you practice awareness exercises, you will become very acutely aware of the body sensations. And they're a very good indicator. So whatever belief you have, whatever negative feeling you have in your body, if you allow yourself to experience it out, you have to experience it fully and then it goes out. If you don't, after that only I realized that there's an old song we used to listen to, Raghavan, wo haseen dard de do jise main gale laga lu. For many years I was trying to figure out the mystery of it. मुझे उस जमाने में हिंदी नहीं आती थी, right? And what is the meaning of haseen dard de do jisko main gale laga lu? And after getting married, I realized what is haseen dard and all these things. Okay, that's it.
We have a member from Nirja. She would like to give her feedback. Nirja, she will be able to come on camera, but she'll be able to speak now.
आप हमारी आवाज सुन सकते हैं जी?
जी सुन सकते हैं. Definitely hearing you loud and clear.
Excellent. No, I am so happy to have participated last moment in this wonderful talk. और मैं सोच रही थी that I would like to correlate one aspect of my life with whatever you've said. कि जब intention होती है तो एकदम जोरदार, जोशीली और महत्वपूर्ण होनी चाहिए. So I was very sick. I had 105 temperature. My twins were 40 days old, and they made me lie down, and my entire body was being made cold with huge towels. And every time the cold towel hit my hot body, I would scream. And my twins, who were only 40 days old, would scream also. And it was terrible. because the gynacs, there were two of them outside, pediatricians were two of them outside, and the gynac said the kids have to be away from the room, and the pediatrician said, no, whatever the mother is going through, the children must be with the mother. और मैं सोच रही थी कि I belong to a country where there's so many masters, and these masters are able to control themselves by just one simple thought, that I am not the body, I am the soul, and the body feels nothing. So my mother's job was to slap my face continuously so that I don't go into sleep and I don't go into a coma. And then suddenly I said, okay, I started, as you say, repeating to myself that I am not the body, I am the soul, and the soul feels nothing. And suddenly I didn't feel anything. And they were doing the same, the activity was the same. But I felt nothing. I stopped crying. My children stopped reacting. And my mother was the one who was reacting furiously because she slapped me more and more, thinking that I'm dying or I'm going into a coma. And I opened my mouth and very weakly I said, Mama, I am not the body, I am the soul, and the soul feels nothing. So my mother thought I was giving her a final farewell speech.
Bye-bye.
Haji, goodbye, Tata. But yes, God is great, and it was successful. What you have said, that you have an intention and then you force the intention with the deepest belief, and that belief and intention put together with your positivity can make the world go round, and anything is possible.
And don't allow the counter intentions to derail you.
Exactly. I love the word. I have never heard this counter intention word before, but I think it is going to go a long way in the rest of my existence. I'm 70 now, and forever I shall remember counter intention.
You're just 2 years younger than me, so you're my choti behan.
बेहद शुक्रिया. अगले साल राखी बांधेंगे. Thank you for patiently listening to me. Thank you so much, sir.
It was very profound. Thank you so much for sharing it. Okay, anybody else? Any questions? Anything you want to share?
Guys, open up. We still have 10 more minutes to go.
Okay, Navi, please go ahead.
Yeah, it was very profound talk what we are given. I just joined in the last time. My question is that some thoughts which is, you have gone through and you want to have, apart from you want to achieve it at any cost, and your physical fitness is all right, you have so many hurdles pending and you want to go about it. You have very short time and you are to achieve it. How do we do it?
With strong intentionality. And there is a very powerful question to ask yourself. How can I make it possible? There are two questions which you can ask. How can I make it possible? What else is possible? See, whenever, let's say you've got a very short time to do something. Okay? First of all, notice you are saying, I have a short time. Who is saying it? So suppose we stop labeling it. You say, okay, I've got 1 hour to do it. Or I've got half an hour to do it. Yeah? Short or long is not the question here. So moment you say I've got a short time, then you're putting a limitation out in this space. I have to finish it in so much so time. Right? I have to finish it in so much so time. How do I make it possible? So when you say that, a set of ideas will come into your head. Write them down. Then you say, what else is possible? Very powerful questions. See, we try our usual old methods of doing things. So our thinking is like that. That's why we're saying I've got very little time. Because if you do it the way you always did it, you have very little time. But you say, okay, this is the amount of time. How do I make it possible? Let me find out how to make it possible. Let me find out how to make it possible. Some ideas will come. Don't accept that yet. Don't jump to a conclusion right now. Ask another question. What else is possible? What else is possible? Now, before you try that and see, my friend. Do you get some new ideas on how to make it possible in that short time or not? Yeah, and please do share with me. You will get my coordinates from Major Narayanan. Major Sahib, with your permission, there is one very powerful clearing that I wish to do with everybody here.
Fine, sir.
We have something called a clearing. We do, it's a combination of a question and some formula which we say. Okay, so just listen to me very carefully. And when I ask a question, say yes. And Naveen, I hope you got an answer to your question. So I'll do my...
Yes, I do.
Thank you. So I'm doing a clearing, listen to it. It might change you in some way. Now listen carefully. It goes like this. What have I made so vital, valuable, and real? I'll repeat that. What have I made so vital, valuable, and real about my judgments, about my conclusions, about my decisions, and my computations that will never allow me to live a life of infinite possibilities? Everything there is times a godzillion. Are you willing to destroy and uncreate it all, please? Yes? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pork, all 9 shorts, boys, poets, begins, and beyond, creations and beyond. So I'll repeat that. What have you made so vital, so valuable, and so real about your judgments, your decisions, your conclusions, your computations that will never allow you to live a life of infinite possibilities? Everything there is, are you willing to destroy and uncreate it all, please? Yes? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pork, all 9 shorts, boys, poets, bases, and beyonds. So let this clearing statement use you.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I wish you all the best. Thank you very much for being such good listeners. Major Narayanan, thank you very much, sir, for the invitation and the privilege of talking to such eminent people from Chennai. Bye-bye. God bless you. Thank you very much.
Question is ours, sir. Our members have learned a lot of new thoughts, ideas, and also acronyms, especially the 3 P's of relationship and the 5 pillars of communication. And aptly articulated by Nirja, she is able to learn what is called the counter injunctions or counter intentions, interferers, and the clearing statement with which you are able to bring the curtains down. We are extremely thankful to you, sir. And God willing, we'll again meet in Chennai whenever you come to Chennai next. And
Well,
those of you who need to have a session of access bars, we'll have a
bars program there.
yes.
I'm closing the meeting now. Thank you very much. I need